So we're going to be talking about why straight lining in buzzers is a good technique, the difference between this and washing lining, and then we're going to get out in a boat, we're going to look at the leaders, the flies, talk about fishing from a drifting boat, also an anchored boat, the pros and cons of both, and hopefully, fingers crossed, catch some fish. So here at Draycote at the minute, the water temperature is just hitting that magical 10 degrees. So everyone talks about, the water's warming up and why is that a good thing? Because we know trout are cold water species, they don't like warmer water. But early season, anything below 8 degrees, the trout are lethargic. There's not a lot hatching, there's not really a lot for the fish to feed on. As the water temperature increases, 8, 9, magical 10, the buzzers start to hatch off and the trout start to move around in the water column and feed on these natural flies, and that's when we can start presenting buzzer imitations to the fish. Buzzers, let's talk about those and then you'll get an idea of why straight lining is such a good, effective method and one that we've decided to cover in this video. Buzzers live in the silt for about a year as a bloodworm. As the water temperature starts to warm, like it is doing currently, the buzzers pupate. So that's when they change and they make their ascent to the surface to the adult buzzers or midge that you see flying around on waters, and the trout absolutely love them. What happens is they live in the silt, the pupate, and then they start their ascent, so they rise up to the top of the water to hatch out. Now, this is a very slow process. It's 2 steps forward, 1 back. So what happens is they kick like that, straight, and then fall back in a curve, which is why we've got curved and straight shanked buzzers. That's the difference. One's imitating them when they're kicking, they're straight, and one's imitating them as they're falling back and they're curved. A straight line, why is it so good for imitating these buzzers? Well, what can happen over the course of a day, the buzzers may hatch off at different times. You might get the smaller ones early, for example, the larger ones a little bit later in the day, just as a bit of an example. So that means you can fish 3 different buzzers, 3 different types of buzzers, 3 different sizes, or maybe even 4, 2, doesn't really matter, at different depths on a straight line. So, for example, we're fishing on the edge of the drop-off, 18 feet of water. We've got a 15-foot leader, we've got one at the bottom, one in the middle, one at the top. And what that means is we're fishing across the depths, we're searching those depths, searching for where the fish are feeding, and it gives us a chance to cover those different depths during the day. You might find you start catching on the bottom one as it's cold in the morning, and as the day warms up, the trout might follow those ascending buzzers up and catch on the various different ones. When we're out in the water, we'll give you some sort of idea of how we're going to fish them and show you, but I've just tied up a quick leader, and this is how the buzzers sort of look on a straight line. You can see them there, just hanging nice and straight. All of these buzzers that we're going to use today are available in the shop. Draycote's been fishing really well recently on buzzers due to the increase in water temperature, and all the other kit that we're using today is available on the link below to the online shop. Well, just before we get out on the water, don't forget to hit that like button, hit subscribe so you can get kept up to date with the latest updates from the channel and all the hints and tips we're going to bring out in the future. Well, we're out here on the water now and we're just about to get set up for the day. So I've anchored the boat off Lincroft Point. We're going to look at anchoring and drifting in this video, but before we get into those, let's look at the kit we've gone for. So, gone for a Sage Sonic rod, nice fast action rod, nice rod to fish with, but any of your favourite rods will do for buzzer fishing. You don't need a specific action. It's not like fishing sunk lines where you want a fast action rod. Any sort of mid to tip, fast action, you name it, it'll fish buzzers. So the line I've gone for is a Rio Grande. The reason I've gone for with this line is it's a slightly heavier shorter head, so it will load the rod really quickly and help to punch out my team of buzzers with a slightly long leader out onto the water and get fishing, and it floats really nice and high to the tip. Starts on a floater, may need to drop down to the midge tip as the sun has just come out, so the fish may drop down a little bit in the water column. So the tippet I've gone for today is the Rio Fluoroflex Strong. It's a high quality tippet. It's very thin for the breaking strain, so this is 3X, 8.8 pound. It's nice and strong, but thin enough that we might catch, the overwintered fish a little bit more wary. Thin tippet can make them shy away. This nice thin Rio fluorocarbon is going to give us the best chance of catching, hopefully, some overwintered fish that might be a little bit tippet shy, but still give us that nice, strong sort of knot strength we need. If, should we be lucky, we get a double hook up on buzzers, it's not unheard of. Just about to set up the leader. I'm going to go for a leader about 15 foot in length, and I'm going to space 5 feet between my flies. So we're just on the edge of the drop off, so I'm hoping the water will be, 18 something foot, something like that. So that'll give us a fly that, 15 foot, 10 foot, 5 foot, see where the fish are feeding, see what size of fly we want. I'll probably put a slightly large one on the point, help it anchor it down, and then one, probably size 12, maybe another size 12 on the dropper. So, setting up a leader, how am I going to measure it off? Well, if I do pull it off the reel and go like that is roughly 5 feet. If I went all the way across, that would be my full height of my span. Being quite short, be about 5'1" probably. But if I do that, that's about 5 feet, or as close as it needs to be. So, pull 3 of them. That'll give me my 15 foot leader. Just use my snips. And then what I do, in different ways you can cut sections and then join them together for your droppers. I always do my full length and then take a section for the dropper. A section for the dropper. And then I won't show you the knot because we're out on the water. It's thin tippet, you might not be able to pick it up. But we have previously done a video using back in the lodge of the 3-turn water knot. So if you click on that, you can have a look, see how I'm tying my 3-turn water knots, and then you'll be able to make up your leaders exactly the same as me. So we're out here now. We're going to start by fishing from an anchored boat. So anchoring has got its pros and its cons. It's great. Obviously, buzzers, as I've mentioned, are a very slow sort of ascending fly. So you want to fish them quite slowly. And obviously, an anchored boat gives you a stable platform, and as obviously you're static. So if you're retrieving, you can be really slow because you know that you're not drifting towards the flies like you are in a drifting boat. A couple of downsides, obviously, I'm anchored here, there's no fish here. I'm not going to get towards them like I would in a drifting boat. However, what I can do is I can cast out 45 degrees, let them just naturally swing round like a natural buzzer would on the breeze. And that gives a really good presentation. I can fish them really slow, just let them swing round on the wind, and it really is a fantastic way to fish them from an anchored boat. However, later on we'll get into drifting and I'll show you how you can fish them effectively from a drifting boat. And as the water temperature warms more and the fish start to spread out, that will give you a better chance of catching greater numbers of fish, because the fish will start spreading out across the whole lake and you'll be able to come across them as we're drifting. But we'll start off fishing from an anchored boat and let's see how we get on.
3, 2, 1.
So I've just cast out on a 45-degree angle. I'm just letting the buzzers swing around nice and naturally, and I'm using a really slow figure of 8. So a top tip I'm going to give you when you're fishing buzzers, obviously there's a lot of buzzers out there and the fish can just swim along, basically mouth open, and just absolutely hammer in to those flies. As a result, the takes can be absolutely savage. Now, if I'm nymphing or figure eighting the traditional way with the line clamped under here, quite tight, if a fish hit me, there's a good chance that, you know, it's going to hit there and break me off, you know, crack off. I've lost the flies, I've lost the fish, not ideal. Whereas I personally like to, especially when I'm buzzer or nymph fishing, figure of eight with the line away from the rod. So that what that means is, again, I can be really slow, but if a fish absolutely carried me now, I can let go of the line, let it take line, give it that cushion, give it that little bit of slack it needs to run away without the risk of getting broken off. And also, you know, if need be, and I do want to sort of keep tightening it, I can feed the line down. So that's one of my top tips for not getting broken when you're buzzer fishing. First fish of the day, taken on a buzzer. I actually had a double hook up then, so this one took the point fly, although the one I originally hooked had taken the middle dropper. So obviously they're feeding pretty hard for buzzers today, so we'll get this one back. A selection of buzzers, obviously different sizes, different colours, some have got flash, some haven't, just depends on the day. When you're out there, you keep changing patterns till you find one that's going to work for both the fish and yourself. So far they've both taken, I've had one on the heavy fly on the point, and I've had one on the red and gold flashy type one near the top dropper, and also I did have double on the same fly. So looks like the brighter fly is a little bit closer to the surface, seems to be working for me today, but we'll see how the day progresses. Well, just as I was pulling the anchor in then, my flies were literally 2 foot off the boat and I hooked another. I think the old saying goes, I'd rather be lucky than good. Obviously, as we're drifting, the boat can grab a little on the drone. See, I'm not quite pointing straight down the line. So what I do here is just a little mend like that, and the draw, get straight back onto the line of my buzzers, and that means that I'm always in touch. Again, you know, we've got a little bit of a wind now going the other way. It's going to mean that my flies are going to swing. If I don't want that, take that mend out, draw it that way, hold them a little bit straighter. Well, that's the end of a fantastic morning's fishing. We've been out, we've shown you the straight lining buzzer technique. As you can see from the footage, there was lots of boats enjoying the great sport that Draycote's currently experiencing. Hopefully that straight lining buzzer and a few of those hints and tips will improve your fishing, and hopefully we'll see you soon at Draycote. If you want to book, the number's 01788 812 018, and don't forget, hit like and subscribe to the channel for the latest videos.